Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire in history. He had gold, armies, and absolute power over millions of people. A single word from him could change the fate of entire nations. He could do, quite literally, anything he wanted. And yet, there are 7 things this man never allowed himself to do, not even on his darkest nights, when plague ravaged Rome and traitors conspired behind his back. He held back not out of weakness or fear, but out of an inner discipline he cultivated quietly every single day until his last. That same discipline made him the example of wisdom we are still studying almost 2,000 years later. Pay close attention, because each one of these 7 things is a trap you probably fall into almost every day without even noticing. These are the 7 things Marcus Aurelius never did, and why you should never do them either. The first thing Marcus Aurelius never did was complain. He lived through wars on the frozen frontiers of the empire, a plague that killed millions, the betrayal of a general he trusted, and the death of several of his children. Any one of those disasters would have broken an ordinary man. And yet, in not a single line of his private writings, the ones he never meant to publish, will you find one complaint. He understood something simple but brutal. Complaining changes absolutely nothing about what has happened. It only chains you to it a second time, now inside your own head. Complaint is the luxury of someone who, deep down, believes life owes him something. But life owes you nothing. You signed no contract when you were born. Every time you complain, you hand your power to the very thing you complain about, and you become its victim. Marcus chose the opposite, to calmly accept what he could not change, and pour all his energy into what he could. When something frustrates you today, do not ask, why is this happening to me? That question has no answer and leads nowhere. Instead ask, what can I do with this now? That small difference is what separates a slave to circumstance from a truly free man. The second thing Marcus Aurelius never did was blame others. Think about his position. He was the most powerful man in the known world. He could have blamed his generals for every lost battle, the Senate for every conspiracy, the gods or fate for every misfortune. No one would have dared to contradict him. But in his writings, he does the exact opposite. Every time someone failed him, he forced himself to look at himself first. Did he truly expect a liar not to lie? Did he trust where prudence told him not to? Blaming others is comfortable because it takes the weight off your shoulders instantly. The problem is that along with the weight, it also takes away your control. Because if the fault is always outside you, then the solution is outside you too, and that is why it never comes. Marcus took full responsibility for his own mind, his own judgments, and his own reactions, because he understood that this was the only thing in the universe that truly belonged to him. Stop looking for someone to blame for your situation. The very moment you stop pointing outward and start asking what part is mine, you regain the power to change something. The third thing Marcus Aurelius never did was seek the approval of others. And this is astonishing, because he had the applause of an entire empire at his command. Whole crowds chanted his name. And yet he wrote that the opinion of the crowd is worth almost nothing, because tomorrow the same lips that praise you today will have forgotten you completely. Ask yourself a simple question. How many famous, admired people from his era can you name right now? Almost none. All that applause was carried off by the wind. Fame, he said, is smoke. It looks solid, but you cannot grasp it, and it dissolves the moment the air stirs. The man who lives to be approved of becomes, without noticing, a slave to every person he tries to please. He hands the command of his life to an audience that does not even know him. Marcus did not act to impress anyone. He acted according to what his reason told him was right. Exactly the same when 1,000 people watched as when he was completely alone. That is real freedom, needing no witnesses to do what you must. The day you stop chasing the approval of others, you discover with relief that you never needed it to be at peace with yourself. The fourth thing Marcus Aurelius never did was let anger rule him. And be careful, it is not that he did not feel it. He felt it, like any human being. He ran an empire full of people who failed him daily. But he grasped an uncomfortable truth. Anger almost always harms us more than the thing that provokes it. You drink the poison yourself and wait for the other person to die. That is why every morning, before the day began, he reminded himself that he would cross paths with the ungrateful, the arrogant, the envious, and the dishonest. He did not do it to hate them in advance, but the opposite, so as not to be surprised and lose his calm when they appeared. Difficult people simply do what their nature dictates, just as a fig tree gives figs. Being angry at them is as absurd as being angry at the rain for making you wet. The only thing you truly control is your response. For years, Marcus trained the ability to leave a small space between the stimulus and the reaction, and in that space, in that fraction of a second, he chose calm instead of fire. The next time your blood boils, take one deep breath and ask yourself, this that I am about to do or say in anger, would I approve of it tomorrow when I am calm? Almost never is the answer yes. The fifth thing Marcus Aurelius never did was postpone his own life. He did not sit around waiting to be less busy, or for a more comfortable future, or for that perfect moment that in truth never arrives. He wrote something that should shake us, that you could leave life right now, in this very instant, and that this certainty should govern everything you do, say, and think from this moment on. The problem with almost all of us is this. We do not live as if time were unlimited, yet we waste it exactly as if it were. We delay what truly matters, the conversation we keep avoiding, the change we know we must make, the apology, the project, until a tomorrow we take for granted and that does not actually belong to us. No one promised us that tomorrow. Marcus treated each day as an entire life in miniature, something born at dawn, lived with full attention, and dying at dusk. Do not put off, for some uncertain later, the person you want to become. The only moment you truly have guaranteed is this one you are living right now. Begin today, even clumsily and imperfectly, because later is the favorite word of a life that in the end never happens. The sixth thing Marcus Aurelius never did was fear death. And it is worth understanding this well. He did not seek it or idealize it, but he did not flee from it the way almost everyone does either. He saw it simply as something natural, as normal and necessary as having been born, like leaves falling from the tree in autumn, without any drama at all. To fear death, he said, is at bottom to fear ceasing to be exactly what you are now. But notice that what you are is already changing in every instant, whether you like it or not. The child you were years ago is already dead. The man or woman you were yesterday is gone forever too. All of life, seen up close, is a continuous flow of small deaths and small births. Marcus did not meditate on death to feel gloomy or anxious, but for the very opposite reason, to live with far greater intensity. Remembering that you are mortal does not darken life, it lights it from within. It gives weight and flavor to every ordinary hour. The man who truly accepts that he will die stops wasting his time on trivial things and suddenly starts having clear priorities. Tomorrow is promised to no one. And precisely for that reason, what you do today matters so much. The seventh and final thing Marcus Aurelius never did was stop working on himself. And this is perhaps the most important of them all. Think about it. He was the emperor of Rome. He had no need to prove anything to anyone. He could have rested comfortably on his power. And yet, night after night, exhausted from governing and waging war, he sat down by lamplight to write. He did not write for others to read, nor to go down in history. He wrote solely to correct himself, to remind himself of his own principles. Those private notes, which he never meant to publish, are today one of the most read books in the world, the Meditations. Picture it, the most powerful man on earth, quietly reminding himself, every single night, how to be a slightly better person the next day. He never considered himself finished. He knew that character is not something you simply have, but something you build and rebuild each day through your actions. The day you believe you have arrived, that you have nothing left to improve, is precisely the day you begin to decline. So do what he did. Examine your day before you sleep. What did I do well today? Where did I fail? What can I improve tomorrow? Not to punish or torture yourself, but simply to grow a little. That was the true greatness of Marcus Aurelius. Not his vast empire, which no longer exists, but his quiet refusal to ever stop improving. So remember this. Marcus Aurelius was not great because of what he had, but because of what he refused to do. He never complained, never blamed others, never sought anyone's approval, never yielded to anger, never postponed living, never feared death, and never, ever stopped improving himself. His empire crumbled centuries ago, but his way of thinking is still alive right now, in you. Because you do not rule an empire, it is true, but you rule something just as important and far more your own mind. Do not try to change everything at once. Start tonight by dropping just one of these 7 things, the one that struck you most, and watch how, little by little, everything else begins to change. If this video helped you, leave a like and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom every night. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.